So Food Wars has finally finished. The series is done, and we're going to talk about, in my opinion, why the last season was a failure. Particularly, we're going to try to like analyze it and sort of like just point out reasons I think it just was not very good compared to the other seasons. The first thing I noticed was pacing. The last season was incredibly bad when it came to pacing. Like, to begin with, it was okay. It wasn't bad. Like, once they introduced everyone and their new standings, and I think it was like a beach episode or something. Like,
Yeah.
that was a fun episode. And then once it got to the whole like blue competition, everything just went like super fast from there. And we didn't even get to see some of the battles, which at some points I didn't mind, but it just felt really, really rushed. And it felt like they threw away a lot of like character development and just focused on like, I don't know, they just focused on the competition, and it felt like we didn't really get much from each character. But we have both of us here. It's me and Christine, and she read the manga. I didn't read it. How does it compare in terms of pacing?
Well, I didn't finish the season 5 anime, but I did watch, I want to say like half of the episodes. And in terms of pacing, I do feel like it's a little bit rushed. I think the character development went kind of haywire, I want to say. Like, they introduced like Erina's mom. Spoiler alert, if you guys haven't watched it yet.
I mean, I'm sure everyone watching this video would have watched it, but
well, they introduced her, and then they introduced Saiba, and it just seemed like in comparison with the manga, I felt like the manga was written out with a better flow than the anime. Granted, I did read the manga. I want to say I finished it. I think it was last year when the manga was completed, and it was better. I wouldn't say that it was better by a lot, but it was better.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same story, right?
Yes. I mean, it follows it pretty closely, but the competition for the blue competition, it just seemed really, really rushed in the anime.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the manga, they at least I saw like a comment saying how they didn't even have certain battles. Like, they just showed the result of the battles. Was it that way, if you can remember? Like,
no, they did show the battles, and at least from what I remember, they focused a lot on the new person Saiba and Erina, but they also, I think they were slowly picking off like the current I guess the seats.
Yeah.
So they were slowly dying, I guess, so if you will. But they did show the battles for that.
Yeah, just recalling the anime right now, I really, honestly, besides the last battle, all of them were kind of like almost pointless, or like there was no real tension to them or anything like that. We just knew who was going to win.
Yeah, I think it was just unsatisfying.
Yes, that's a good word. All of the battles were very unsatisfying. It sort of just felt like filler the entire time almost, but also rushed filler and bad filler. I don't know. It's like it's a little hard to describe the feeling of it.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
But it was just really, really poorly paced, but I gotta say, towards the end, the final battle, well, it wasn't even the final battle. The battle between Soma and Saiba, I thought that was good. That was like classic Shokugeki right there. It came back for me, and I enjoyed it, but that was literally, I think, the only battle that I enjoyed throughout the entire season. And the last one was sort of, I don't know, it was okay, I guess, like him versus Erina.
Yeah.
We didn't see much of it, to be honest, but I guess like we saw the result that she won and stuff like that.
Well, for the most part, every battle in Shokugeki no Soma had some type of lesson and learning. And I think that's where, at least this season, it failed, because the purpose of the battles was just to honestly like have a battle. There wasn't really like any lesson or learning for anyone. It was more like, I'll just kill you with my food and then move on to the next person. And I'm not sure, this seems like it's getting really close to the end. I don't know if did they have like the training session part in a train yet?
I'm pretty sure that was before.
Was that season 4?
Yeah, that was season 4. Before they battled like the 10 seats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Then I do then I do remember. Okay, I'm piecing all the puzzles together. At least in the
in the
timeline.
ending, they showed how Soma went through like a series of Shokugekis with a whole bunch of the past seats and
Soma or Saiba?
Soma.
Oh, okay.
Like it was a flashback to before the seats, before they graduated and stuff, and they were just having a whole bunch of battles. So he had a lot of practice and grew a lot by basically battling everyone. But it was just like a quick flashback. I wish they actually
Showed that
story wise. At least like I don't know. It sort of came out of nowhere. I'm not a huge fan of flashbacks when it comes to like I guess it depends on how they do it, but like for this one, it was sort of like, oh, he's this good now because he battled all of them, and then we're just gonna give you a flashback of like 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, there should have been a progression, huh?
Yeah, and that's the explanation. So it felt cheap to me, and that was another reason why I'm like, okay, so that's another point to why season 5 was terrible in my opinion, because it went from like Soma not being the best, still trying to like progress, to him now being better than his dad all of a sudden, and being better than literally everyone, and we didn't really get to see how he became that way, and that's a huge thing that I did not like. It's just that he just magically became like better than everyone except for Erina.
That's true. I mean, and at least in the manga, it did show that he had like, I don't know if it's the same for season 5 of the anime, but he had like a lot of humbleness, and it didn't really make it out to be like he was the best, but but he was up there, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't getting humble vibes from the anime, to be honest, but he was still fooling around and stuff, that's for sure. But it still isn't, story-wise, it still isn't what I like. It just seems like there was too much skipped stuff, and the skipped stuff wasn't referred to well enough for it to be a good story.
I think that's also why I stopped watching it, because it seemed kind of rushed, and I didn't want to waste my time on watching it.
Yeah, I mean, most mangas, in my opinion, have better pacing than the animes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, wasn't there like a certain time where the anime kind of stopped and we had to wait like maybe a month or two for more Shokugeki episodes to come out, right?
Well, I don't know. Remember that I literally only started watching this like a couple months back.
Oh, yeah. Was it because I told you to watch it?
I think it was a combination of like you or my cousin or just like people saying like it's a good show, and I just watched it.
Aw, man, now it's like, I'm going to compare everything to season 8 of Game of Thrones. Now this season 5 is like season 8.
Yeah, we were... did we also compare like Sword Art to that? Or...
Yes!
Yeah? How the ending just sucked?
Disappointment.
I don't know, man. Like maybe it's just this anime season for these... I mean, it's just literally 2 animes, so I can't say
Maybe
that,
it's just this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know how the production system works, but like maybe because of COVID, something happened where they had to like rush the animation. I don't know. Like, but
it could be. It just sucks to see these like really, they put in so much effort and whatnot. They put in so much effort and time into producing these animes and like to have a good storyline and plot, and then to see the latest season be absolute shit.
Yeah, and it's the ending too for Shokugeki. Sword Art is gonna continue. Food Wars is done, so this is their ending. And they did not stick it, in my opinion. I mean, like,
oh no,
the last 2 episodes were satisfying, I would say, in terms of just like as anime episodes. They were fun to watch. They were good, but like, so it's sort of the opposite, I guess. So for me, Sword Art was like, okay, it was pretty good throughout, and then the ending just kind of like sucked, like the last few episodes. For Food Wars, it was more like most of the season kind of sucked, and then the last 2 episodes were good. So in that regard, it's like it left me with a better taste, at least. But overall, the pacing was the main issue, and I think story-wise, like the way they told the story, it could have been better. That's probably the same in the manga, so that's more of a critique for the story in general versus just the anime. And also the whole like Saiba thing with his noir group or whatever, it just didn't make that much sense to me. Like like what was the point of it, to be honest? It kind of just felt like a cult. Like, what are they even doing? And
well, I mean, he has his own agenda, right? So definitely.
yeah, he has his own agenda, and it was interesting to learn about how, you know, he took it from Soma's dad that, you know, you're supposed to find a good wife or something, and he was sort of secretly trying to do that with Erina or something.
Yeah, I mean, granted, they kind of didn't write it in a good way.
Yeah,
I guess.
them being
like,
half siblings doesn't help either, but
I think that traverses the kind of anime genre no one really talks about.
maybe, but it just, I don't know. His character fell flat for me. It didn't really
was one-dimensional, right?
Yeah, exactly. It didn't feel like a real character. It was what I was about to say. And him beating Joichiro like in the first 2 or 3 episodes or whatever, I didn't like that.
It was pretty. Yeah, when they even showed that part, they showed that part in the manga too, and it was very anticlimactic. I was like, aren't you supposed to be freaking like a beast?
Exactly. Like story-wise, it fell flat, but at least the ending was somewhat satisfying to watch, is what I'll say about this season.
Did it end with Erina being seat 1?
I mean,
she was the first seat.
She was already like the, I don't know what you call it, but
was she the director?
The director, there you go. She was the director. She was already the director by the time it hit season 5. So season 4, I thought was a good ending. Season 4 was satisfying throughout, I'd say. But like when I say good ending, I mean like it wrapped it up pretty well. But at the same time, I don't like the fact that Soma just immediately became seat 1, and Erina becoming director is fine. But like Soma becoming seat 1 immediately just felt like, you know, why? But at the same time,
they kind of just gave it to him.
Yeah, at the same time, I guess like if you think logically about the story and how he still lost to the other seats before they graduated, fine, that's totally fine. But it's still like weird, and the fact that they didn't have the other characters who were also like the seats and the main cast basically do much this season kind of sucked. But
I mean, they were kind of just there just to be there. So in a sense, I understand. Yeah, I understand why you said it was like fillers.
Yeah, by the end of it, it was just like they all appeared, but like for no, like they're not even invited to the blue competition or whatever. They just all appear, so it's like it's kind of funny.
They were just fodder for the audience and for Erina and Saiba.
Yeah, honestly, part of me thinks season 4 just had a better wrap up and better feel throughout the season. All the other seasons.
Do you think it should have ended there?
No, I don't think it should have ended there. Like, I think they should have had a bit more, but like not what we had for season 5, because that was not a good story in my opinion.
Yeah, like, I mean, in terms of a food anime, I would say this is like on the top of the list of good food anime or anime centered around food.
I've thoroughly enjoyed seasons 1 through 4. For sure. And season 5 just had it didn't have the same feel, basically. It felt rushed, and it didn't feel like the exact same show to me. It sort of felt like an empty shell of the same show. But you know, it is what it is now, and we can't really do much about it, and it's over. So like at the very least, you know, at least they gave like I said, a decently satisfying ending episode. So yeah,
maybe I'll just watch the last 2 episodes just to see, since I couldn't even finish the season out.
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. But yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of things left undone. Like a lot of characters didn't get the ending that I would like.
The justice that they needed. I kind of wish there was more progression with Todoroki? Megumi? I think that's her name. The girl with the pigtails.
Megumi.
Yes. I kind of wish there was more
Todoroki is a character from My Hero.
Oh no! Oh yeah. Okay, but she has a last name with a T, I think. But anyway, regardless, I do wish there was more progression with the rest of the characters. And I feel like they should have put more emphasis on them holding the seats, like more of proof
Yeah,
of why they
yeah,
have the
yeah, yeah.
seats,
That
of
would have
why
been
they
more
deserve
more
it.
interesting.
Yeah, instead of kind of going into a competition about like the god tongue and whatnot. I think it would have held more value to showcase, why they had those seats. Besides the fact that they did the whole training thing last season.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to have sort of a like a reversal, like where now that they're the 10 seats, like newcomers are basically trying to take their seats or something. Or there's just like it would have been interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of wish they had like an epilogue too, because in the manga they didn't have an epilogue, and I'm sure it's the same for the anime, to show where they're at now that it's all over.
Exactly. That's what I wanted the most, I think, because it just feels like all the other characters were left in the dust, and now
Yeah.
we just don't get that satisfying ending for them. It was
Yeah,
sort of
because they built it up and it just
yeah,
ended.
it was sort of just like an ending for mainly Soma and Erina, and that's it. Which I understand is they're the main characters, but still, it would have been nice.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I think it would have kind of closed off the circle, so to speak. I think it would have just brought it around full circle
Yeah.
if they had done that. And then I think that would have been a more satisfying ending.
Yeah, in terms of analysis, there really isn't too much to analyze in in the last season, other than the fact that the pacing was terrible and the story could have been better. Really,
I thought there was cool points though.
Like
At
what?
least like Saiba. I mean, it's not unusual, but I think we've seen it in the manga before. But Saiba taking all of his ex opponents, no, his team members, their weapons and stuff, and
Yeah,
reusing
his
them.
cross knives thing.
Yeah, I thought that was like I was just like, oh, okay, like that's kind of cool. That's a type of technique they have.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it seems kind of ridiculous. Like, it doesn't. There's no like. I don't understand it, but I guess.
Yeah, his character development wasn't great either. He kind of just showed up and was like, I beat your father, and now I'm gonna beat you and marry Erina.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I have to say about this show. I mean, like, I will remember the first 4 seasons well, and I will like thoroughly say that that's a good watch. But if anyone asks me like, oh, should I watch Food Wars? I'm gonna tell them, yeah, watch it. But season 5, the last season is gonna suck a little. Just letting you know.
Yeah, or I would say just read the manga. But the manga and the anime, it is kind of different in terms of visuals. I loved the anime. I actually started Food Wars watching the anime first. And it was great to see the color and the glistening of the food and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then I switched to the manga, and it actually took me a little bit to get used to it. But other than that, I would say if someone were to sit or ask me if they should watch it or not, I would say yes too, along the same lines of you. And then I would say finish off with the manga instead of finishing off with the anime.
Yeah. That's good advice.
Yeah. But overall, I get you. Last season's disappointment.
Well, that's pretty much it. I guess we're gonna be done with Food Wars for a while, unless they come up with like some movie or OVA or whatever. But we'll see.
Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions on any food-based anime, let us know, please.
Yeah, that's the only food-based anime I think I've ever watched.
I've only watched one more, and it was called like Japan something. It was about bread making though. It
Gotcha.
wasn't like cuisine. It was mainly just bread.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a lot of anime that I haven't watched in general. I mean, I have watched a fair amount, but I think I've only watched mainly the mainstream ones. Yeah.
I'll give you a list, but if anybody else has their all-time favorite that we should watch, Scott probably will need it more than I do.
Yeah. Okay.